This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Today's hosts are
Bea Mattos,
Breanna Latouche,
Maiya Waddell,
and I'm Savannah McCauley. Today we're talking about health. All kinds of health, physical, mental, spiritual, and even financial. And of course, we're here at BYU-Idaho, so we've got access to all kinds of those things here on the campus. We're starting out the semester strong with all kinds of people that are willing to help us out. So Bea, you actually wrote our outline for us today, and we're talking a lot about all these different things. And you wanted to start us out with physical health. We've got all kinds of things here on campus. What's your favorite thing to use for physical health here?
So physical health is one of the important ones, obviously, and I find it to be a big struggle for myself. I'm not necessarily like someone who will go out their way to eat healthy or anything, and my sister, on the other hand, is the opposite. And so she'll take me to like the cycling classes, and those have become my favorite. Does it burn and hurt a lot? Yes, but at the end of the day, I really, really love the cycling classes because you get to do it with like 30, 40 other people that also don't really know what they're doing, unless there's like a couple people who come a lot. But the instructors are always amazing and their energy is always up. So that's one of my favorite like physical health activities that the campus offers.
So like as far as the cycling classes go, do you sign up for them like any other class, or is it different?
No, yeah, it's one of the ones that it's just like, I think they have it 2 to 3 times a week, and if you just go to like the iBelong app, you can sign up for the different times and you can choose your favorite instructors as well. So if there's someone that you like their teaching style better rather than someone else, you can pick. So you just have to look and just kind of reserve a spot, and it's free. So,
it's free? That's great.
Yeah, it really doesn't take much.
As you guys know, as students, having things free is really great.
Yeah.
So that's great. Have you guys used anything on the campus that you guys really like for your physical health?
I have. I've used Zumba. Basically Zumba. But I've used the gym too, and all you have to do is like have them register your fingerprint, and then you can have access to all the facilities there.
So if a student wanted to register their fingerprint, do they just show up to the gym and then they can do it there? Or do they have to go somewhere else to do that?
They have a second floor. There's like this little building that you can go to, and they'll register your fingerprint.
And the second floor is in the same place as the gym? Oh, perfect. That's not too hard then. What about you, Maiya?
For me, I typically just like go on walks. I don't really go to the gym that often. I should, but I typically would just go on walks around BYU-Idaho.
Honestly, walks are great though. Like they're really, really good for your health, especially if you can get outside. I know here in Idaho, it gets pretty cold, but when it's not cold, it's really nice to go outside and walk. I feel like it just feels nice going out in the nature. Sure. But also walking on a treadmill is just as great. But yeah, if we don't have snow around, that's my preference. As far as physical health goes, for me in particular, I've been doing a lot of research about PCOS because that's what I have. It's a health condition that I have, if you don't know what it is. It's called polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it causes a lot of insulin resistance in my body. So I've been doing a lot of research for food in particular, because if I eat the wrong foods, it can cause problems in my body. So I've been looking up things about protein and about fiber a lot and adding a lot of that into my diet. And honestly, I feel like it's super healthy to start thinking about adding things rather than subtracting things from your diet, because a lot of times I'm like, yes, I want a donut, but that's okay. You can eat a donut, just eat some fiber with it and it'll help it digest a little better. So it's not hard, or it is hard, but it's not as hard, I feel like, as restricting your diet as much, because then you just want to eat all the bad foods at once. Not that any food is bad, but I just mean all of the sugary foods, all of that. Instead of doing that, I like to just add things and make sure that kind of stuff is added to my diet. The next thing that we wanted to talk a little bit about was mental health. Something I like on the campus is going to the health center, because there's wonderful therapists there that have helped me go through a lot of things and helped me talk through things. And you can actually, if you don't know about this, you can actually do 2 free semesters of mental health work here on campus. So if you're a student, you can actually get access to that. But I will suggest that you go as early as possible to sign up for the semester, because it does fill up really quickly. So if you want to get that free semester in, go like the first week of school. In fact, if you can, go like the first day of school. So keep that in mind, but it is absolutely wonderful. We have awesome health professionals here on campus. What do you guys do for your anxiety or anything that you get throughout the semester?
I would say stress balls are a big thing.
Yes.
Just like have a stress ball on you at all times and just squeeze it if you need it.
It helps a lot. Do
Yeah.
you keep yours in your backpack? Or?
Yes, yeah. So
Perfect.
it's really nice.
I normally talk to my roommate and just like vent, or I go on walks. Just taking time for myself to like think and be like, I'm okay, everything's okay. So
I like that. It's good to have your roommates that you're close with, that you can talk through things. What about you, Bea?
Yeah, I used to do counseling therapy as well, but not here on campus. I've never tried it. I wanted to try it just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I've definitely heard good things. But then, yeah, I stopped a few years ago because I graduated therapy, or I like to say that. That's not true though, but anyway. And now I just talk to either my sister, sometimes I'll call my mom or anything like that if I need to talk something through. And if I don't, I'll honestly just take a break, like watch a show or read a book, anything that just kind of can get my mind on anything but the thing that I'm constantly thinking of.
I think as students, a lot of times we get really bogged down by homework and stuff, and we want to just like push through it all. But really, I found, like you said, to take a break, it helps a lot. Even if you have like 2 hours worth of homework still, sometimes that 20-minute break of watching your favorite YouTuber can get you through that last 2 hours.
Yeah, honestly.
It really can. It makes a huge difference. So I love that. So how does anxiety and stuff affect your guys' focus in classes? Anxiety, depression, anything like that, your mental health. How does it affect your classes?
Sometimes it kind of makes you think, like, can I really do something? Because if you get so nervous, you're like, I don't know if I can do this assignment, or I don't know if I can even finish the semester. So it's good to have, I think, a good support system to kind of remind you, like, you can do this. You can be able to finish the semester, this class, this assignment, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
kind of the same thing. When I'm like in the moment, it's all I can think about. It's going through my head constantly, and then I miss like the rest of the class and what was being taught. And I found that if I like take myself away, just like having those moments to really think, I can like calm down. But something a teacher also told me is like, after this, will you still be alive? I was like, yes, I will. And that's always helped me know that like, if this doesn't go right, it's not the end of the world, and I'll still be okay after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For me, I feel like I feel the most amount of anxiety when I have to either perform something, give a presentation, or anything like that, which is odd because I do find myself to be an outgoing person, but when I'm like standing in front of a class of like 40 people, I suddenly goes out the window and nothing even makes any more sense.
No, I get it.
Yeah, and so yeah, I'd have some really bad like anxious days where I'd have to present like a whole plan or something to my class, and I'd literally be shaking and like I want to throw up so bad. But I just kind of get through it by taking some breaths and like literally realizing it's really not that big of a deal. Everyone in the class has to do it too, and so it just kind of, it's just my like walking myself through it. And at the end of the day, like the teachers are also so nice and so helpful. And so if I ever have a problem with something, I know that I can go to them and to like ask them to help me do something else or whatever the case may be. So.
Have you ever taken advanced speech with Brother Embry?
I have not.
Have you
yet.
taken that? It is so fun. If you don't know Brother Embry, he's amazing. He's super helpful. But your like final is a TED Talk. you don't actually go on a TED Talk, but you do like a class version of a TED Talk. And so you actually go to a different building and you like perform in front of an audience and stuff. It's really fun, but of course very nerve-wracking. So one of the things that I did for that was I like stood my ground kind of and just like focused on my feet and let myself breathe in the middle of my speech. So like even if you need like just 2 seconds to just breathe, sometimes that helps just slow you down and you're like, oh, I remember my next fact now because I just focused a little bit on breathing and just letting myself slow down a little bit. That's something that I struggle with because I have such a fast speaking voice when I'm nervous. So I found that if I slow myself down and just kind of stand my ground, it helps. So I hope that helps you guys and your future endeavors with speech. Thankfully, I'm finished with my speech stuff, but if you guys need any help, let me know because I love speech. So, yeah, and as we mentioned before, we do have the health center. So please take advantage of that because it is wonderful to have therapists be able to help you get through some of the things that you might need to get through, and don't feel like you're not as important as someone else. Like if you've got stress and anxiety, it's good to go talk to a therapist. It's not something that you should worry about, like that person has way more problems than me, they deserve this spot. Don't worry about that. If you've got stress and anxiety, go talk to a therapist. They are there for you as a student and to help you get through these things. So don't forget and don't feel bad if you need to go and talk to a therapist. That's their job. They're there to help you. The next thing I wanted to talk about, because we're here at BYU-Idaho and we are training to be disciples of Christ, so we really want to talk about our spiritual health here on campus. And there's so many different things you can do on campus to help your spiritual health. And I just love seeing the Taylor building here on campus. You can literally go inside the Taylor building anytime you want while you're here on campus and just sit in the pews and just feel the Spirit. Absolutely love that. So that's one of the things that I think is great for students to do when they're feeling a little low, trying to get their spiritual health up. What do you guys do on a regular basis that helps your spiritual health?
I have to say for me, I've been really working hard to maintaining like daily scripture study. And I've been told a lot that it doesn't really matter how much you read at the end of the day, as long as you read a chapter, a verse, just anything that you can to just sort of, have that moment to yourself and be able just to read. And I've also been trying a lot to go to more like word activities that I have, because I feel like in the past I'll go to like word prayer, but I won't like do much else. And so I'm really trying hard this semester to be more active in my ward and to like actually learn more than like 5 people's names and stuff like that. And I feel like that also just helps kind of bring my spirit up too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I try to go to the temple as often as I can.
Absolutely, it's right there.
When I got back from serving a mission, I realized like how important the temple was, because I didn't have a temple in my mission, and I lived 3 hours away from the DC temple. Mm-hmm. So being able to go to a temple that's like right there is really important to me. So I try to go as often as I can.
That's a great reminder, Breanna, because honestly, like, I grew up not near a temple at all. Like, I think I was 5 hours away from a temple. So, like, thinking about it now, like, I literally live right next to a temple. So why don't we take advantage of that and go and be in the Lord's house at least once a week if we can, if not at least once a month, right? To make that goal happen. I mean, it's right there. It's in our grasp, and it's not something that would be too difficult. You just got to get online and make an appointment, right? So I love that, Breanna. Thank you.
I would say for me, it would be like reading your patriarchal blessing or listening to music that the church has put out. I think that's really helpful. Or even listening to conference talks too. My favorite is Think Celestial, so I always read that one whenever I'm kind of down or wanting a little bit of spiritual hope. So yeah.
Yeah, I love reading talks, and actually one of my favorite things is to listen to them in the morning, because as students, as you know, we don't have a whole lot of time sometimes, so I like to just like bring it up on YouTube and listen to it if I'm getting dressed or eating breakfast or whatever. it just helps start my day the right way. And I love that. So thanks for mentioning that. Another thing that I love about the campus is that we literally have professors that teach things that are related to the gospel and Heavenly Father. So you can take church classes, which is so amazing to me, that you can actually learn things from a professional who's been teaching these things for years, and you can keep that in your own heart and in your own mind, and it's just right there in your schedule already. And you can put more of God in your schedule every single week just by signing up for a class. So I absolutely love that about BYU-Idaho. So lots of great classes here on campus that are spiritual related. Are there any that were your guys' favorites that you took here on campus?
I really liked Old Testament 1 and 2. I took it by Brother Black, and he's amazing. And
oh, that's good.
yeah.
It's hard to find the right professor sometimes that you connect with when it comes to spiritual classes. So you said Professor Black?
He just made it understandable, because the Old Testament can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And so he just explained it in a way that, brought the spirit and helped me understand my covenants made in the temple better. And yeah, it was a great class. So
That's really awesome. What about you guys? Have you taken any classes similar to that?
I would say, I've taken almost all of my religion classes by this point, but I think my favorite would be Eternal Families, and I took it with Brother Peterson.
I love him.
I was going to say, much like your teacher, he really makes it understandable to everybody, even someone who just might have recently converted versus someone who's been in the church their entire life and stuff like that. So he makes it so everyone can be able to leave the class with something new. And I honestly feel like every day I would leave and I would have known something that I didn't go in there and knowing by myself. And so that was one of the classes that I definitely would recommend if you can take it with Brother Peterson.
He's great. I actually took a Book of Mormon class with him. I loved that class. He even brought Lion King involved in it, and it was really good. So he likes to bring in pop culture references and help you understand the subjects a little more deeper. So he's really, really fun. But I did take Eternal Families, but I actually didn't take it with Brother Peterson. I took it with Sister Platt. If you have a chance to take it with her, she's so loving and kind. She's just such a wonderful teacher. So it all depends on what you're looking for in your teacher, because they're all different, but they're all great, right? So, but yeah, those are some good ones. Maiya, do you have one that you really liked?
I would say Prep for Eternal Marriage was really good. I don't remember my professor's name, unfortunately.
You're lucky enough to be able to get in. That's such a hard class to get into.
It was so good because he would talk about the pre-existence, and he would share really cool facts, we were single in the pre-existence for such a long time.
Yeah.
And just things like that. And so I was always leaving the class so happy to learn something new. So I totally recommend it.
I love it. And that what professor was that again?
I can't remember the name right now.
Oh, okay. That's cool though. That sounds like a really awesome class. I'd love to take that. Yeah, I know that it was it gets really busy though, really fast. So you got to be really on it if you want to get in that class for sure. Another thing we really wanted to talk about today was our financial health. And I know as students, a lot of us are new adults and are trying to learn how to do things. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Something that I've learned that helps me save money in the long run is buying groceries in bulk at Sam's Club. It's expensive at first, but as you do it in the long run, you're saving a lot of money, because you're buying things in bulk. You're getting the giant ketchup thing. It's going to last you a really long time. Instead of buying the $1 ketchup, it's going to last you a couple weeks, right? Well, maybe a little more than that, depending on how much you use ketchup. But yeah, what I'm saying is, in the long run, I've found that it actually naturally gives us food storage as well, on top of us actually having what we need and helping us save money in the long run. So yeah, you may be spending $300 at once, but that's going to last you a couple months, if not more than that. So super helpful if you can get the chance to even ask for Christmas a Sam's Club or a Costco membership. Both of those are great places to go shopping. Especially for Costco, there's a lot more organics. So if you're interested in organic foods, things like that, Costco's really good for that. Sam's Club sells everything that Walmart sells, because it's the same company. So if you like all of Walmart's foods, Sam's Club is the place to go as well. So I would suggest suggest both, but obviously it's a little expensive to do that, so just choose which one you think would best work for you guys. But that helps me a lot financially when it comes to my budget and things like that. In the long run, we save a lot of money over our food. What about you guys?
Yeah, I definitely have been working on budgeting, making sure that I pay tithing first and then kind of figure out what I'll be doing that week, because sometimes I'll want to go to the movies or something, you know, and so you kind of have to budget a little bit for like fun stuff and then the stuff I need to pay and then put the rest in savings. And so it's been a trial and error for sure. I'm still kind of broke, but we're making our way and I think it's getting better, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Breanna?
So I've combined groceries with one of my roommates, and I've actually saved a lot from it because
It's a great way of doing it.
we meal prep together. We then choose days that we're gonna make meals, and I've been able to meal prep for like lunches and things because we've done like dinners, and so I can just use leftovers. So it's like saved me a lot of time and money. So that's what I do.
I agree with that, honestly. Like you're saying, if you were to shop by yourself, you'd have to get the smaller portion stuff because you don't want things to go to waste, right? And the smaller portion stuff is more expensive. So doing it with your roommate, if you have a roommate that you really trust, I think that's super awesome. It's a great way of doing it.
It cuts like the groceries in half because you're both getting it.
Yeah.
So even though it still feels like a lot, I'm not paying like $50 or like over $50 every meal. Or every grocery trip. It's like cut in half and it feels nice.
That's awesome. I love that. And especially if you've got a roommate you trust and you can work with, that's perfect. What about you, Maiya?
Yeah, I would say I do the same thing. I kind of plan out with my roommates what we're going to make and what we're going to eat for that week. And then as well, I have Walmart Plus. I use Walmart to like get groceries, and it typically isn't that expensive for me. You do get free delivery, which is great, so I use that and it's awesome.
That's super helpful, especially for students who don't have cars.
Yeah.
Because Walmart's like way far away. You can't walk there. I mean, you can take the shuttle, but it's hard to take the shuttle sometimes on your own time schedule.
Yes.
So that's such a great tip. So Walmart Plus, everybody, you can get it delivered directly to your door. So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
What about any of the financial things on campus? Have you guys gone to talk to any of the accountants or anything like that on campus?
I haven't, no.
I haven't, but I know we were talking about it before, but I've taken the Math for the Real World class.
Yes.
And honestly, at first, you just learn like easier math stuff, but then when you start getting into like the units about like how to buy a car, how to buy a house, and like how to pay for your taxes and stuff like that like I've learned about in high school, but because it's high school, no one really wants to teach you everything and no one has the time and whatever. And so I feel like that class was really helpful as well for that, because you kind of, first I dislike Excel sheets, but you just kind of put everything in there and you just sort of work it all out and you start learning how to do that on your own as well, because you kind of, for my class, I don't know if all of them are like this, but we were kind of like solving other people's problems. Like we'd have like Sam and Mary have this thing and they want to buy this car, and so you'd have to like figure it out for them, and it just teaches you how to do it yourself too, which I think is like very valuable experience that one day I'll use.
I will say this, it sounds like it's self-explanatory, but when you're taking that class, make sure you have a laptop.
Yeah.
Because I had a desktop and I had to write everything down while I was in class and then go home and do it on my computer. It was really difficult. So if you take that class, be prepared to actually have a laptop with you, just so that you can have that prepared for class. The next little bit of our podcast is a really fun one, so we're actually going to do a little bit of a quiz. This is prepared from another student, so all three of these hosts don't know any of these questions, so this will be really fun. So these are all multiple choice, so I'll read the answers to the question. You guys will then let me know which one you're guessing, and then I'll let you know which one's right. So, which hormone is primarily responsible for the runner's high and is linked to reduced stress and improved mood? A, dopamine, B, serotonin, C, cortisol, or D, endorphins?
Between A and B. I'm trying to think back to health class. Which one's the happy one? Can you repeat?
Yeah, A, dopamine, B, serotonin, C, cortisol, or D, endorphins?
Okay, I'm gonna go serotonin, B.
I'm gonna go with A, dopamine.
Oh,
I'm gonna go B.
Okay, are you guys ready for this one?
Yes.
It's D, endorphins.
Wow.
Yeah.
So off.
All right, number 2. What does CBT stand for? A, cognitive balance training. B, coordinated breathing therapy. C, cognitive behavioral therapy. Or D, central brain technique.
I'll go with C because it sounded fancy.
Me too.
I'm gonna go with C.
Yes, you guys are right. It's
let's go.
cognitive
Yes.
behavioral therapy. Okay, number 3. Which of the following mental health practices is supported by cognitive behavioral therapy to effectively challenge and change unhelpful thoughts? So getting those negative anxiety thoughts out. Is it A, positive affirmations, B, thought records, C, avoidance of triggers, or D, overanalyzing situations?
A.
So you say positive affirmations?
Can you say them again?
Yeah, positive affirmations is A. B is thought records. C is avoidance of triggers, and D is overanalyzing situations.
I'm gonna go with A.
I'll go with B to be different.
B is the right answer.
Oh.
So it says they encourage a structured way of examining negative thinking patterns and replacing them with more balanced and realistic perspectives. So thought records, making sure you write down your own thoughts, and not all of them obviously, because that would be way too much, but the things that you feel like you're anxious about. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and skip to number 6 because we are running a little low on time here. So number 6, BYU-Idaho has a wellness website. True or false?
I think it's true. True.
Absolutely. So you can actually go right here on the website, the school website, and then it's under Wellness Center and Mental Wellness. And you can go down and there's all kinds of tips and tricks on there. And anybody who's a student or anybody who's not a student can actually go on there and see all kinds of things that can help with your mental health. So absolutely wonderful. This school has so many wonderful things for our health, physical, mental, spiritual, and financial. So take advantage of all of the things we have here on campus. Get a good start on the fall semester. You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were
Bea Mattos.
Breanna Latouche.
Maiya Waddell.
and I'm Savannah McCauley. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by Jesse Richens. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle and Natalia Hepworth. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the Spot podcast wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.